Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, welcome. My name is Amanda and this is Soul Care. Today, I really wanted to sit down and start a conversation about boundaries and how I'm feeling about this topic at the moment. So, as I previously discussed in my very first YouTube video, where I just kind of explain what I want to do with this channel, I mentioned how I have a daughter. She is a little over a year old at this point, and it looks like she is going to start walking soon. So I've been struggling with my weight. I've always kind of struggled with my weight. I've always been maybe 20 or 30 pounds overweight, and I would take the weight off and then put it back on through periods of my life, which I don't really want to get into in this video at the moment. But I did put some weight on. I put on about 50 pounds with Amelia, my daughter, and I've taken some of that weight off, but I'm struggling basically with the last 30 pounds. And I'm realizing that it's getting very difficult to keep up with my daughter, who is crawling. She's not even really that mobile yet. Like I know it could get a lot more intense. Lately, I started a strict diet and exercise routine, and I started off with restricting certain foods and beverages. I'm not a huge alcoholic beverage person, but I do enjoy having a glass of wine or a craft beer, and those things have a lot of sugar. So I thought I could start there and kind of go from there. Another thing that I did was I started eating more fresh fruit and vegetables and herbs. I'm eating a lot of salads, and I'm just trying to cut out as much bread. I do allow myself to have, right now it's one carb. Usually at dinner time, that'll be rice. It'll be maybe a pasta dish, but I am trying to eat more rice, brown rice, or more salads, more fresh fruit and vegetables and herbs, basically. And I realized like the first couple of days, I was really struggling. I just felt really miserable. And I think it's because of the restriction. And I tend to do this to myself. I'll just cut things off very quickly, and it'll be a bunch of things all at once. Pluto's actually my dominant planet, and we can be very obsessive people. I also have I would say I have an addictive personality. So I really struggle with restrictions and limitations. And I was just wondering why I was struggling so much. I've been able to lose weight during so many different parts of my life. Like I've said, I've lost weight easily, and I've gained weight easily pretty much all throughout my life. My whole family is pretty much like this. My sister's like this. My father's like this. And I could go on. And finally, I realized that I'm struggling with this because they're boundaries, basically. And I struggle with boundaries. I don't know if anybody else is like this. I know that I have several family members like this. Our boundaries weren't really respected, even still to this day. And I think it's because, maybe my parents didn't really have their boundaries respected either. There was also a lot of addiction in my family home. There was poor self-control and addictive behaviors as I was growing up. I think it's from my upbringing, but I also think that it's consumerism. It's really difficult to go on your phone nowadays without going 2 minutes and not having an ad on your phone. And to make things even worse, these ads are specifically for you. Your phone is constantly tracking you so that they can sell you more things. And I just find this to be, a part of the problem nowadays. And with the click of a button, I can get everything that I want delivered to my house the next day. I also feel like as a society, we're trying to fill a void. We're trying to fill this hole. Less and less people are interested in spirituality. We're trying to buy our happiness. We think that happiness is something that we can buy, and I don't think that that's the case. And it's coming from somebody who is trying to find her happiness. I'd be lying if I said that I didn't try to buy my happiness. There are so many times where I have fallen into that trap like everybody else, where I think, you know, that having that new I was gonna say handbag, but I'm not really a handbag person. For me, it's like makeup. It's always been makeup, or tarot decks could be. It's another thing where, you know, I feel like if I purchase that tarot deck, it's gonna make me feel happier, but that happiness doesn't last long. And again, I do think that it's consumerism. It's been allowed to get out of control, basically. Another thing that I was noticing is with restricting my food intake is I was almost obsessively thinking about food, or I was obsessively thinking about that new tarot deck or oracle deck. I had an extremely low mood, and I just felt very stressed out. I think a huge part of it too is just poor stress management on my part. It's something that I am trying to get better, and I'm finding that, you know, having a regular exercise routine is helping with that. To me, boundaries, they just really connect with the temperance energy, the temperance tarot card energy. To me, it's all about balance, and I'm trying to really work on that as well. Balance is also something that I struggle with. As I said, I'm Pluto dominant, so I can be very obsessive, especially with things that I really enjoy, that I derive a lot of pleasure from. My hobbies, my passions, I can get very wrapped up in them. So some things that I was trying to figure out for myself is just really understanding that I do have an addictive personality, and trying to also understand my limits. You know, money has limits to it. It's a resource. All resources have limits. There's only so far you can go with them. And accountability and responsibility as well. That's why I kind of created this channel too. It's really for me to take accountability and a place for me to express my thoughts and opinions at this time, so I can come back and see where I am in a year, or in shorter periods or longer periods. I also think it's important to have realistic expectations of the boundaries. Not setting yourself up for failure is definitely very important. And to have also a clear understanding of the boundaries, understanding why you're setting this boundary, and, you know, what the purpose is. I think it makes it a lot easier, but also to be open-minded with them, to understand when they need to be improved or updated. And I was having a discussion with my older sister, and she mentioned like the language too, using positive language as opposed to using negative language about boundaries can be very helpful as well. Instead of saying, you know, instead of feeling like you're restricting or limiting, substituting that negative language with a more positive language can be very helpful. So saying, instead of saying like, you know, I'm not going to allow myself this piece of cake, say, instead today I'll have maybe some Greek yogurt with some berries. You know, I can have that piece of cake another time. This was an important conversation that I think we need to have as a community, as a society. I think that with the new age spiritual movement, I feel like we don't want to have restrictions, and having boundaries and restrictions can make us uncomfortable, but we need to understand that there are limitations to everything. We can't spend money as if it grows on trees, it's going to dry up eventually, right? That's what leads to the Five of Pentacles. And I struggle with my own boundaries. I can really struggle with boundaries. I've always struggled with boundaries. I think I always will. And this is something that I think is extremely important for me to have an understanding of, that boundaries don't have to be negative. They can be positive. But anyway, that's all I wanted to discuss today in this video. I will be back next time. I think I like these types of videos. I do think that going forward, I want to have more conversations like this on my channel. Please, in the comment section below, write down any thoughts that you have on this topic of boundaries. If you want to add anything, please feel free to leave a comment in the comment section. Anyways, I hope you have a wonderful day. Thank you for watching.